Continuing the remodel of this apartment. On the last video I replaced the pull latch on this pocket door and noticed the slide was making a weird sound. And as I went back and forth it got stiffer even after I lubed it. The end result was the door eventually dropped to the floor inside the pocket wall. You can see here it's no longer plumb and the way it's tilted towards the inside. I can feel the back rollers are no longer on the track. Not much you can do when this happens except take the door out of the pocket to see if the rollers came off the track or need to be changed. For that to happen, I need to take this trim off. I will start with this top one that looks like a door stopper. In a way it is a door stopper. This molding hides and keeps the edges of the door from swinging after it slides out of the pocket. On this door there's one on top and one on the pocket side, none on the door frame end. Once they're removed, it should free the door from the frame and I can see what else needs to be removed. The main tools I used for this is a hammer, small flat chisel, a 9-in-1 painter's tool, and a razor blade utility knife. The main goal is to take the trim off with minimum damage. I cut the paint on the edge with a sharp razor so the paint won't peel when prying the trim from the frame, and cut as straight as possible so there's less sanding before I put it back on. After cutting the joints, I used the hammer and the 9-in-1 painter's tool to get under the paint and pry it from the frame. This will expose some of the internal workings of the door. Taking my time doing this will avoid damaging the trim and be able to reuse it after minor scraping and sanding the paint from the edges. Now I need to take off the top outside frame molding to be able to get to the access strip behind it that keeps the track and rollers hidden. The trim stopper I just removed on the right side will make it possible to swing the door out from the bottom as I lift the rollers from the track later. I do the same here. Cut the joints with the blade and use the hammer and the 9-in-1 painter's tool to pry it from the frame. I can get a better look at that access strip now that needs to come off. I pry it off carefully and put it aside. Now that the access strip is out of the way, I can get a good look at the rollers. The rollers on the pocket side are completely gone, and the ones on the other side are the only ones holding the door in the track at this time. If I swing the door from the bottom and lift it, it should come off the track. One thing I'm realizing, it would have been better to take the access strip off the other side, in which I might have to do to put it back on. I lift and pull the door while tilting the bottom towards my feet, and it's finally off the track. That was too easy, and the reason is because the rollers were broken off on one side and the ones that were still on the other side had so much play it made it easy to come off the track. Looking at the two front rollers, it seems they're just about to break off. Lots of play on the carrier bolt. The other rollers in the back, they are completely gone. The track seems to be okay. I'm glad about that because the only way to replace it is to cut the drywall. It does look like it could use some extra screws though. Inside the pocket seems to be structurally okay, but definitely needs some cleaning, especially on the floor. Over 40 years of accumulation here. Got it all cleaned up as best as possible with a long stick and a paintbrush taped to the end. The vacuum hose is way too big to fit in there. And I found the rollers that broke off the bracket, just sitting on top of one of the 1x4s. I fished it out, Looking at it, you could see it just sheared out of the pin it was originally crimped to. I took the old roller off that's still intact to take with me to the store. It definitely took a lot of beating over the years, lots of play from the crimped pin. It's built very well. It has an up and down adjustment that could be made by turning the knob here. The travel is about a ½ inch up and down. I hoped to find the same size and quality, and what I found will fit, but quality I'm not sure of. The only one I could find was this one. Not impressed with the adjustment screw right off the bat, and it seems a little bit lighter, but they'll have to do. The bottom plates are a little bit wider, but not wider than the thickness of the door, which is good. The important thing, the rollers are the same size and they slide freely up and down the track. The bracket holes don't match the old one, but they are centered, so I can reuse one of the holes. They are slotted for adjustment, so all I need to do is center it. I'm also facing the rollers on the same side as the old ones. I'm trying to reinstall the door from the same side I took it off, but as I mentioned earlier, the rollers will not be able to go in the track from this side. Not that easy anyway. The door needs to be swinged from the other side to be able to hook the rollers without damaging them. That means I will need to take the trim off the other side like I did on this side. I should have realized it when I started. Being the first time doing a pocket door, I should have researched it a little more and would have saved at least an hour or more. So I take the trim off the other side to be able to swing the lower part of the door, and take the top trim off to be able to get to the access strip and take it off to gain room to hook the rollers into the track. Once I removed the trim, I noticed the access piece is held by screws. The other one was nailed. So it's confirmed this is the side I should have started. Lesson learned. I cut the edge with the razor so it wouldn't disturb the outside trim around the frame, and it came out very easy and clean. I leaned the door under the casing on the side of the track. Once it was lined up, I slowly lifted the door until the rollers hooked inside the track. I made sure that all the rollers, the two on each side, are completely into the track and the door is level. Then slowly slide the door to make sure the rollers stay in the track. I made sure of the same on the other side, where the roller assemblies can be seen even better. Because this door is solid wood, making it very heavy, I pre-drill extra holes in between the existing screws to add even more screws. I also made sure the track is level, and applied silicone lube to the track and rollers before reinstalling the wood. I slide the door in and out a few times, checking it's level and plumb, and the bottom has at least a 1/4 inch gap from the floor. I brad nailed back the access strip on the side it was originally from. Then I put the other access strip back on the other side, which is the real access side and was originally screwed in instead of nailed. I scraped and sanded the trim edges to smooth out the paint, took the nails out as well. Before brad nailing, I lined it flush with the access piece to make sure it will not rub on the door while sliding. I Did the same with the side trims. And the top frame trim. The last thing I took care of before painting is the side-to-side bracket that will keep the door straight instead of moving side to side. I applied wood filler in the deep joints and sanded it down. Now I apply white caulk in the reveal edges, sealing all the trim. Tomorrow will be dry enough to paint. I really only need to touch it up in the areas that need it, since the door and frame was repainted a few months ago. The next day I gave it 2 coats of high gloss. And now have a functioning pocket door again. Glad this project is done. By avoiding the mistakes I made, hopefully makes it easy for someone else out there. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you along the way. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. See the description for links of tools and materials used in this video. And you all have a great day.